I should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cherry AM. Sorry for the late start this morning. Obviously, myself and Ollie stayed up and watched the game last night. And Ollie was going to be hosting this morning, and I think he may have overslept, or he might be having technical issues. But so luckily, Sean is with me. Otherwise, I'd have been going solo this morning. So good morning, Sean. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I was working last night, so saw some of the game, but not all of it.
Yeah, we'll discuss obviously the game very shortly. There isn't much of a plan to today's show because I was only meant to be coming on with Ollie just to sort of give Craig an extra day off this week as he's very busy. So we will cover off the game. I do have quite a few notes on the game, so it will be interesting to hear everybody's points in the chat. And obviously, like Sean just said, he's seen a bit of the game, so we can discuss that, which is good. Let's start with the comments as always. And if we go up to the very top with the first comment, Paul from Oz, who will be joining me on tomorrow's Cherry AM. He's going to watch the catch up later. He's had a huge day and all the best. So, yeah, all the best to you, Paul. And, if you're watching this on catch up, I'll see you tomorrow morning for our Cherry AM show. Dan Shaw, morning, Matt and Ollie. But it's Matt and Sean this morning instead. Paul, good morning, everyone. Bad result last night. I know it's just one game, but did say we need some new faces through the door. Is our depth not as good as we all thought? Again, we'll touch on those points, Paul, as we go through the game. Morning, afternoon, all. Darren Hurst. Well, you cannot win them all, but that was a chalk and cheese game compared to the last game. Man, you were just like we were second half last game, and we played like toffees. There's a few good points there, Darren. I did also get your email. I will respond to your email at some point later on today. So thank you very much for getting back to me. Chris, good morning to you, Chris. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining us as always. And I did put VAR in progress into the chat because obviously our VAR joke that we tend to do in the mornings. But I think to be fair this morning, you can kind of let us off considering myself and Ollie were up at sort of 2:15 this morning to watch the game. And obviously Sean, he's been working all night as well. So he's been up all night as well. So you can give us a little bit of slack on this one today, I reckon. So Sean's popped into the chat as well, saying good morning to everybody in the chat. Also just put an update in there. We're waiting for Ollie. hopefully he may join us at some point. If he does, that's great. If not, I do understand, because it was quite exhausting sitting up all night watching that. Darren must have had a serious adverse reaction. This isn't promising this morning. Oh yeah, Sean. Yeah, sorry, I know you were probably waiting in the background there. Tommy, really shaky defensively from our right side. Sabani played very absent-minded. Yeah, I can kind of understand where you're coming from with that one. And Arehu was clearly not up to the task, worrying as he's our next best option to Adam Smith. Darren, Hill can cover Smithy ahead of Arehu, which, yeah, he can. I mean, it was good to, we will touch on it. Obviously, James Hill played in the midfield last night as well, which was quite interesting. And yeah, he is probably distracted by the transfer talk, obviously. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Sean. We will touch on that. He was, he was well battled in that second goal, wasn't he? Pushed off the ball a little bit too easy, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit further in a minute. We need our sixes back and healthy. World of difference with Adams on. Yeah, Phil Bill needs to be further up the field if he has played and can't do the Christy Adams role. And I do agree with that. I thought you can definitely see when you compare the two games recently, his best position is that kind of forward position rather than more the deeper, in my personal opinion. I'd agree that Herrera played fine defensively on the first goal, but he struggled with the ball and the right side was pretty glaring weakness. Yeah, okay, yeah, not a bad point. Good morning, Daniel, hope you're well. Chris, that was a bad night for the Cherries. Not happy about it. Yeah, it is a shame to obviously have that bit of a setback. It would have been nice to win the tournament. I don't think obviously that's going to happen now. But yeah, it was a bad night. But at the end of the day, it is, just a friendly, isn't it? Dan Short, yeah, that's what I've got in my notes. Actually, it was nice to see Will Dennis get on and get some minutes. Definitely was pleasant to see that. Morning, Matt and Sean from Chris. Good morning, Malcolm. Hope you're well. Looking forward to our breakfast tomorrow morning. Myself and Malcolm have got a breakfast date, so looking forward to that. Liam, yeah, good morning to you, Liam. Hope you're well. Not seen 4-1 without Kuna. Yeah, that's obviously a Man United fan there. Morning, Liam. Saying hello to Liam and Malcolm. Yeah, I'm glad you're looking forward to that, Malcolm. Okay, guys, I think we are through the comments there. So we're just going to start with the Man United Summer Series game from last night. Just to get your opinions on it first, Sean. I know you've seen little bits of it. What were your views on last night's game?
I think the first goal kind of showed how it went. I mean, I'm saying about Julian wasn't at fault for it, but if you looked at it, he had the Man United players' names off by heart and that, but the one that's going to cross it, Julian followed the one that went out the outside. Billing was the next closest player. Instead of moving in closer to him, Billing just seemed to stand off. And then when the cross in, Senesi was just a little nudge and then didn't follow his man. And I think that was what the difference was pretty much the whole game, is the Man United just seemed to be hungrier for it and having that drive. And usually that's what we do. We have the hunger and we push them and all that kind of stuff. And it just seems to be roles reversed. We say Billing just didn't want to go forward, have Julian, Senesi just nudged off instead of still following his man. When they had done that, the header, there was no one near him and that. And yeah, even Julian, the fault for the second goal, he's kind of pushed off. But I think what's more worrying is that they done a quick free kick. That's meant to be our thing. And Julian just didn't react quick enough, which in that. And was it Traore for the fourth goal? He lost it quite easily. He had an opportunity to just kick it away, but it was kind of a lazy trying to kick it away. And I say, we just seem to be lazy and just not having the hunger, and Man United did. And I say, I don't want to say that sour grapes or anything like that. Man, you can only play what's in front of you.
Yeah.
But I think we made them a lot better than they actually was. So yeah, I think the first goal is an easy example of the general of the game.
Yeah, no, I totally get your point there. I mean, if we just look back prior to the game, obviously West Ham beat Everton 2-1, which kind of left the winners of the Bournemouth and Man United game kind of in the driving seat for winning the series, which obviously Man United have obviously taken that sort of pole position now. What did you think? You may have seen little bits of it, but what did you think of seeing James Hill kind of playing in that centre mid holding role? I personally feel, from just looking back at my notes there, I thought he demonstrated his how versatile he can be, and the way he adapted to the position. And I also thought his positioning was quite good when he was dropping in to cover for the back four during the first half. I mean, did you see much from what you managed to see with Hill?
I didn't see that much of that part. So, but I thought Hill done all right in that. I can only say the bit that I saw in that. The only players that stood out to me properly, stood out. I say Dangle's my favourite player, and I don't know if it's biased in that, but he was the only one that seemed to, during the 35, 40 minutes that I was able to watch in the first half, he was the only one that stood out. And the other players, it was only, I would say, the bad players, or ones stood out being bad, would be probably Senesi, Evan Nilsson. I mean, the crosses from Dangle that I saw, they was disgraceful that no one took those chances. They was absolutely perfect. And Evan Nilsson should be doing better. And I remember a few comments on the last game that he probably wasn't doing very well in the last game. So again, I don't know if it carried on for the whole game, but from what I saw, Senesi didn't do very well. Hill done okay. But yeah, it's just that all of them, besides Dango, just didn't seem to have that drive. I don't know if you saw the same thing when anyone stuck out with that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, from looking back at my notes from really, again, really the only one for me that really stood out was, when I go back through my notes, and I had to agree with you, is Dango, really. Looking back through my notes, it's just Dango really that stood out quite a bit. Just want to touch quickly on Phil Bill with you, Sean. There was a comment back up here from Tommy saying that he needs to be further up the field, which I agree with. He was made captain to start the game last night, obviously with both Smithy on the bench and Lewis Cook being out absent, injured. What's your opinion? Phil Bill further up the pitch, or do you think he can play in that kind of holding role?
I think he's a confident player, so he needs to be further up the pitch than that. When the problem is he can go hot and cold. I've said for him, not as a starting player, but I still want him as a sub in that. It doesn't always work when he comes on, but he gives that different option. And yeah, obviously with us not doing very well quite early on in that, I think it showed again, let's say, he's a confidence player, and it seemed to be knocked out of him pretty quickly. It's don't know what else to really say with him.
No, I get where you're coming from. And basically on our cherry picking show this week, which will be out tomorrow at 9 a.m, we will be discussing the future of Phil Billing on that one, whether it looks like he's got a future at the club or whether it looks like he may move on. But we will be discussing that in our cherry picking podcast. So if we go back through, then just to quickly touch on the first goal again. Sinese, I thought was pretty weak, to be fair. I mean, even the build up from the cross, like you touched on, Sean. There was some defensive questions there across it, but I do think, considering how aggressive Sinese can be, I thought he was kind of weak on that first one. And then the second goal, obviously I've got quick free kick. And obviously, Irehu, is quite physically beaten quite easily, and the United player finished the 1-on-1 quite easily. Did you see the offside goal from Semenyo?
Yeah, it was very tight, but I think it was offside, to be fair.
Yeah,
it was tight, but I think his arm was sticking out enough that it would have been offside if it went to VAR.
I agree. I think it was very tight. I've written here tight offside with a question mark. But Billing's ball was pretty good, I thought. It was a great ball through to find Semenyo. But even when we were 2-0 down, I still thought at the time that, I still feel that there could have been a way back into it for us. But just to touch on United, obviously seeing United for the last sort of few seasons, I thought United were a lot more organised last night. They looked a lot better. I thought Fernandez was quality in the central parts of the pitch. Before we go and touch on Dango, your thoughts on United, Sean? Do you think they seem to be more of a more organised outfit?
They definitely look better. Before this game, I was saying that they look like, I don't think there's going to be anywhere near Europe, that kind of thing. I still don't think they will be anywhere near Europe. Yeah, they did do a lot better, but I think we didn't push them and that, and it just made them so much better because of that. And so I think any team, when you get confidence, score earlier on and stuff like that, if you're not being pushed, then you will keep going on attacking and all that. And that's essentially what happened. So, yes, United looked better, but being a pre-season game, we didn't have our usual midfield and all this kind of stuff. It's impossible to say how much to look into it, but they looked better, but you can't tell for certain.
No, that is a fair point. I think personally they're going to have a better season than last year, but I do agree with you. I don't think they'll reach Europe. I think it's going to be I think the manager needs, if he survives that long in the job, I think he's going to need maybe, a season or two to kind of, really build that squad up again to challenge for Europe. So, I do agree with you that, but I think they will have a better season. Just before we touch on Dango, let's just go back to the comments very quickly. Badger and Bournemouth fan, how you doing? Nice to have you with us. He agrees with you, Sean. We didn't see him up for it, and I think, across the whole 90 minutes, when you look back at it, I would say that's probably about right.
I'll say when Man U and West Ham played each other, I said that Man U in the first half looked really good and all that, and then West Ham looked really bad. But then as soon as West Ham started pushing them and that, then suddenly Man United looked not very good. So the only difference is we didn't start pushing them. So that's why I'm still not sure whether they've actually turned a corner or just the team they're playing.
No, definitely. Spirit of Liverpool fans, big up Bournemouth. Man United 4, Bournemouth 1, obviously, just highlighting the goal scorers there. Thank you for joining us. Paul should have had confidence being made captain. Yeah, but I do think he is also, like Sean's touched on, and I know Craig has spoken to some people as well, and he is very much a confidence player. Spirit Liverpool fans, pre-season fixtures. Yeah, that's our remaining pre-season fixtures there. So we play West Ham, and then we've got a behind the closed doors game on the morning on the Saturday against Real Sociedad B, and then we play at Dean Court in the early evening against the first team. So, yeah, that's the remainder of our pre-season fixtures there. Tommy, hopefully Cliver and Krupi and Scott are ready for Saturday, but far more importantly, Liverpool. Yeah, definitely. I was kind of hoping to see Krupi last night, to be fair. But yeah, that is key. I think making sure that those players are fit for the Liverpool game. So, I mean, even if they're fit enough for the bench for the Liverpool game, having them, on the bench at the very least is better than not having them involved at all. So they might be a little bit under with the match fitness, but I mean, having them as an option on the bench at the very least would be very, very important for that first game of the season.
Yeah, so I was certain that Evan Nilsson will be our striker, but I don't know. It's only going by 2 preseason friendlies and that, but maybe Evan Nilsson won't be definitely on number 1 striker.
Well, this is it, isn't it? With preseason, it's a clean slate again, and everyone's earning their places, aren't they? So yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, and like you say, it's hard to just judge off two preseason friendlies. But yeah, the competition is going to be very, very hot for places as last season, I reckon. Paul, last season United won all of their preseason games. Okay, yeah, I didn't know that, to be fair, but yeah, there's pre-season's a funny thing, isn't it? It's good to win games and build your confidence up, but I've always said, it's more keen. I've always been more keen to see new players fitting in and things like that rather than the results, because as soon as the season starts, it's a whole kind of different atmosphere, isn't it? And United won all their pre-season games last season and had a terrible season. So there's only so much you can judge on pre-season friendlies, isn't there? Where is Bournemouth going to finish this season? Check out our tier list show. We have a tier list show on the channel, and yeah, all our answers are in there. So yeah, check out our tier list show. But Chris is going with a 9th place finish. Sean, what about yourself?
I think I originally went for 8th, so I'm still hopeful in that. Yeah, right back is the main concern. I put Julian as our right back because I could put Hill there, but I don't really want. I want him in centre back. Cook and Smith. Smith with his legs, I don't think so. And then Cook, he done a good job, but he was called out a few times in that. So Julian, that's why I put him there. But if we could just strengthen a little bit more, another centre back, maybe give Krupi a chance and stuff like that, then yeah, I still think we could do 8th.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's realistic. What is going to happen to Clive, Semenyo, Sinistera, Evanilson, Dango, and Tavernier? What exactly do you mean by that? Are they all going to be competing, or some going out on loan, or yeah, not too sure exactly what you mean by that question, but they're all. I mean, my starting out of those would be Clive Semenyo, Evan Nielsen, and then possibly Tavernier for me, but that's just my personal opinion. Are Bournemouth going to finish higher than 9th this season? Time will tell, but like I say, Sean's predicted 8th, and yeah, check out our tier list show. Do you think we played we played. Do you think we played a care, Darren? Not as strong a side against the strongest competition as a test for those players to see if they could be worthy of a first team placement or bench player. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing I think, pre-season is all about is testing different players against different types of opposition. So that could quite well be the case. And Chris, I think Bournemouth will finish 9th or higher this season. Right, let's get back to Dango Atara. Obviously, he's a big favourite of yours, Sean, as I know from the videos you've done with Craig. That really good one where you were comparing Semenyo and Dango, which was a great show. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, do pop to the channel and do take a look at that. From going back over it, for me personally, the first half he was my man of the match, to be honest. He put a great cross in first half for Evanilson, but it was well defended from United. I was quite frustrated actually for Evanilson in the first half because I just didn't feel like he really got the service. Done all the work, real hard work off the ball, but he really didn't get. Other than that cross, I'm just trying to think of what else happened. But yeah, I don't think he got the service. But yeah, Dango put a couple of good crosses in, and he broke through the midfield, beat Luke Shaw, and then he hit this excellent shot, which really did force Tom Heaton to save. I don't know if you saw that one on the highlights.
Yeah, I love seeing that one.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was anyone again looking for. I think the goalkeeper properly did he parry around corner or something? But I don't think the point is, I don't think I saw any Bournemouth player ready to pounce on any mistake from that. So, and I saw that a few times when Dango was doing the cross there wasn't the Bournemouth player quick enough to react. Dango seemed to be a level above, and everyone was trying to catch up with him.
Yeah, no, he's. See, I kind of see him probably a bit slightly differently to yourself. You see him as a first team starter. I like him coming off the bench and what he offers as a substitute to come into the game to offer that something different. I mean, you really never know what he's going to do. But starting last night, he did really impress me. So, I really like him. I really, really like him. And like I say, man of the match for me in the first half. Definitely man of the match.
Yeah, I mean, I think first half of the season, I would have said, yes, Dango's a sub and that impact sub now. But I think second half of the season and what he's shown in pre-season, that to me anyway, I think he's earned the right to be a starter now. He's done enough consistency and quality to do that. I say beginning season, no, but I think he's shown enough of that now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very, very fair point, and especially with what I've seen, in the last two games. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's great, isn't it? The amount of competition that's there, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I was just going to say with because I've only seen the second half with highlights and that, and it seemed to focus on Brooks and Wise. There's only a few minutes of highlights and that. Brooks seemed to do quite well as well. How did he actually do for the game?
Yeah, no, he come on and played well, made a real impact. I've got some notes somewhere, just going back through the notes there. Yeah, he came on and made a real impact. I do remember that. The fourth goal, though, Sean, you may have to talk me through that one because I decided to pop to the loo. Of course, then I decided to do that throughout the 90 minutes, so we go and score. So when we come to the fourth goal, you'll have to cover that one for me because that's literally the only bit of the game I missed, ironically. But yeah, I mean, the second half, I mean, I think when the third goal went in, I think that was pretty much job done for us. But I mean, just want to touch again on Senesi because even though, I kind of, we've touched on, a bit of the fault for the first goal. even though it was a pre-season friendly, I mean, some of the tackles he put in, I don't know if you saw on the highlights, some of the tackles he put in, but he put in some real committed, tough tackles in, especially against United striker. I mean, I think there's a picture of him somewhere on one of the news articles of him tackling him, and he's literally like crying out in pain as he's like come in and proper aggressively tackled him. Senesi, for you, is he a natural starter in the side for next season now? Dean's obviously moved on. Obviously, we know there's still the transfer talk with PSG with Zaba, but is he a starter for you?
No, I think I swear I've heard other fans say similar things, that certainly during this pre-season and even the end of last season when he came back from injury, some players when they come back from injury do brilliant, others don't, and sadly, to me personally, he hasn't done so well since he's come back from injury. I mean, he's not been bad or anything like that, but he hasn't been his old self. And whereas Hill, for me, has been absolutely amazing, stepping it up and been doing brilliant tackles and that. And I'm happy for Senesi to be back up, but I think Hill's just got more quality than Senesi at the moment. So, yeah, Senesi's bench for me.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Guys in the chat, what's your opinions on that one? Would you start Hill over Senesi, or is Senesi, with his experience, a starter for you? Let us know in the comments. Let's just go back to the second half. Yeah. Obviously, later on in the second half, obviously when all the substitutes were made, it was good to see Will Dennis get some minutes. He's a keeper that's obviously been very patient at Bournemouth. A few seasons ago, had a very good season at Kilmarnock on loan. It's only really played, I think it's one first team game for the club. I think it was an Oldham game in the FA Cup. I think it might have been under Jason Tyndall. So that's quite how long ago it was. But Sean, good to see him get minutes. And do you see him having a place in the future, in the squad? Is he kind of your third choice, keeper? Or do you think he'll go out on loan again to maybe get some more game time under his belt?
I think he needs to go out on loan. What I want is Alex to be second choice, because I want him to get used to our system, play a few FA Cup games or something like that. And Will Dennis has done that part of getting used to our system, play that kind of thing. And now he needs a good, ideally, high-level championship so he can really get regular time and all that. I'll say Alex is the one step behind, which is why I want him to be second choice. Sadly, I got a feeling I still think that Neto will end up being second choice, partly because of wages, partly because I don't see many clubs wanting him. Luckily, he's shown he's happy to be second choice. But yeah, because of the PSR and the wages and that, and lack he's played in that, I can't see him going anywhere really. With only a year left on his contract or something like that. No, not long. So yeah, I think he'll end up being second choice. But yeah, I think Will Dennis needs to go out on loan to a high championship.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with you there, and I do agree with. I think the future is obviously Petrovic, Poulsen, and Dennis. I do think, it's probably time for Neto to move on. But yeah, let's see what happens there. Let's just quickly pop back to the comments. And where were we? Okay, Paul, I think we need two defenders, another midfielder, and a striker. We have the money. Yeah, interesting point. I know he's been quoted in the Echo, I think, as saying that he's definitely after a replacement for Dino. and possibly an attacking player. Another midfielder. Back to you on this one, Paul. Why another midfielder? What's your reasons for that? That'd be interesting to know. Sunderland, Burnley, and Leeds going to be relegated. It's an interesting point there.
We haven't really seen our midfield. What's probably going to be our midfield really in the pre-season so far?
Sorry, say again, Sean.
I say we haven't really seen what our midfield is probably going to be through pre-season, to be honest. So
yeah, that's a good point. No, that is a good point. Very good point. Yeah, because obviously we haven't seen. Obviously Cook's injured. We've seen a little bit of Scott in the last game, didn't we? He came off the bench. Did he come off the bench last night? I can't remember. What was that? 4-1, very poor, made them look good. Okay. What did you think of the Liverpool? Yeah, didn't see it. Did you see that one, Sean?
no, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it, so I'm not too sure. I haven't even seen any highlights, so I'll have a look.
I might have glimpsed the highlights, but not enough for me to remember.
Yeah, no, I'll have to check that one out, actually. I agree with you there. So, yeah, agreeing. Chris is agreeing there with Polly. Malcolm, these are pre-season games that are to give players all the minutes and try different tactics. So I don't read too much into it. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. Pre-season is a funny old thing. Sometimes it can build up confidence with some wins, but, like Paul was saying earlier on in the chat, Man United won all their games last pre-season and had a terrible season. So there's only certain things you can really look at with pre-season. And when it gets to this kind of part of pre-season, Sean, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of just itching for the season just to start properly again. I know I definitely am. Tommy, as of now, he's a starter, but I'd honestly rather give Hill more time. If Zaba goes, we need at least 2 starter level centre backs. Yes, that's a fair point. And yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one, Tommy. I think I would like to see Hill get more time, but I do think if the squad stays the same, our defenders stay the same, I think he will go with Zaba and Senesi. I think personally myself. But the way Hill has played in the last couple of games, I think he's a great player. Even last season, there was a couple of games, and I remember some of his passing was just fantastic. Some of his passes from the back forward were just brilliant. So, Darren, Hill is a strong reader of the game, and defensively, Senesi is better at cross balls and attacking passing. I think that's a fair point. I think that is a very fair point when you compare the two players. Hill would be a starter for me. Yeah. Hill would be a starter for me as well. So that's Daniel there. Agree on the Paulson shout. I want to see him get good game time, either with us or on loan, but he is the future. Yeah. I think if Neto is going to see the remainder of his contract out, there has got to be a decision made on the other two about getting some game time because, game time is very, very important for goalkeepers, isn't it?
Yeah.
He'll earn the right to play from the Everton game. Yeah, wouldn't disagree with that, Liam. Wouldn't disagree with that. Injuries, we get a lot in midfield. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I do get that, Paul. Yeah, that could be an option to look at, and I'm sure the guys have got plans for potential injuries. But fingers crossed we don't get any. But we know what it's like, obviously, at the moment. Obviously, with Cook picking one up recently. So no, I understand where you're coming from now, Paul. Cheers for that. Morning, guys, and thank you for joining Matt this morning, Sean. Okay, yeah, hello, Craig. Thank you for joining us. Scott did not play last night, but apparently he should be back for Saturday. Yeah, I didn't think he'd come on, but I'll be honest with you, I couldn't quite remember whether he did or he didn't. Just to wrap up on the Man United game, Brooks, just go back to Brooks very quickly. He linked up very well. I do remember this now from my notes. He linked up very, very well with True Fair. True Fair came on at the same time. They linked up very, very well. And Brooks forced a corner from a shot from it. So they started to link up quite well down that left-hand side. And then we had a corner from that. There was a bit of a scramble. I don't know if you saw it on the highlights. And then unfortunately, Phil Bill smashed it over the bar. So, and there was also a good save from Will Dennis, just going back to Will Dennis as well.
I saw that.
From the United centre-back. I think it was Delit. Is that how you pronounce it? Delit? I'm not very good
I
with these
don't know.
questions,
But yeah, I remember that save. It was a good save by him.
It was a good save. So it was nice to see him make a good save as well. Fourth goal, in my opinion, shouldn't have been ball snatched off Billing, and then Chore couldn't clear, and then a smooth finish from the United player. Yeah, so the fourth goal was, I mean, guys in the chat, if you saw it, what do you think of the fourth goal? I mean, I know you've touched on it briefly, Sean. You were saying about what I picked up on here, that Chore couldn't clear the ball. But then, Billing did have the ball snatched off from, in one of those places where you don't really want to lose the ball. So I think for me, that's kind of why I think Billing should be more of a forward player, in my personal opinion. But
yeah, I didn't see the Billing part of that in the highlights. Didn't show that. I just showed the Traore losing the ball part of it. And as I said to you, that again, it shows with so many players there that when he tried to clear it, it wasn't a really hard whack it out or anything like that. It's almost like he tried to pass it, clear it kind of thing. It wasn't full effort. And yeah, they capitalised on it, exact kind of thing that we're meant to be doing. And yeah, that's the main thing on there. That's why I put too casual on the brackets on my notes on there.
Yeah.
Clearer.
So you make some notes as well, like I do. If I don't make notes when I'm watching a game, if I know I'm going to have to talk about it, I just totally forget. Or there's bits that I want to include and I forget. So I always make me notes when I'm watching a game if I know I'm going to talk about it the next day.
I know we're going back a bit, but I think the third goal I put just complete mess because I couldn't. There's so many players there, I just couldn't figure out who was the fault really.
Yeah, it was a complete mess, wasn't it? The third one. There we go. Back to my notes. Where is it? Yeah, I've got a complete shambles written here. There's another point here as well that I've just gone past that I thought, that was a good point. Yeah, there was again, I know you only saw the highlights, but there was a piece of class from Zappa in the box. He literally just takes the ball off Ahmed and really showed the class in his defending and why really. I when he did it and I watched it and I was like, I can see exactly why. I know we've seen it all last season, but it was a beautiful challenge. He just literally slid the ball off him. And literally I was just like, you can see why he's considered to become one of the world's best centre backs, because it was just fantastic way he done it. You'd have to see it. You'd have to see it to understand where I'm coming from. So if you did see the game last night and you do remember that, it was fantastic. I just thought the way he took the ball off him was brilliant in the box. Let's just jump back to the comments very quickly. And we'll start to round off very shortly. I think Hill's best position is right back. Now, this is a very interesting point, Paul, because he has played right back for us. And do you know what? I like him at right back, but I think that's also because he's very good with the ball as well. But he's also good at centre back. So for me, it's a hard one to say what his best position is. And like last night, I don't think he really looked too out of place. I would say definitely centre back or right back is probably, in my opinion, is better position than where he played last night, but he still did a job there. Sean, centre back or right back for you is his strongest position?
I would prefer him over Julian right back, but because I so much want him as centre back, this is why I've got Julian as the starter, as right back, because I want Hill to be in the centre back next to Zabs. So, yeah.
Okay. So you're not mentioning much of Smithy there. Now, I'm a big Smithy fan. Why is that? What's your? Why would you
I
start?
mean, every season he gets better in different ways. He's getting more clever with how to adapt. Because I did see last season, certainly against the top teams and that, now and again he was losing out to them, and it was usually down to pace or stuff like that. And yes, he's adapted brilliantly. Don't know how he does it and that, but I think last season was the first season where it was only against the top teams and that, but I started to see it a bit where that pace really started to have an effect. And that's so this is why I want Julian, because I'm thinking of the future, and that's why we got to look progress and stuff like that. And at the moment, Julian's the only option. So I'm just hoping Smithy can help him to get that quality in that. But yeah, I don't know if it's close. I would say Smith might be slightly better, but I just want to think of the future and that, and I just think, yeah, it's going to be more of a future of it.
Yeah, no, I do get your point there from looking at the future. Definitely. I think Smithy's done really well, though, since Iriola's come in to adapt his game, I think. And, I think it's just, a real testament to himself for, his age and still being so fit. And for me, I think for me personally, he's a starter. Maybe not in every fixture, but I would say for the majority of fixtures, I think for me, he's a starter. But yeah, I definitely get your point with the whole future of it, which obviously we do need to look towards as well. So, but yeah, no, interesting point there, Paul. And like I say, I kind of get where you're coming from on that one. Darren, it was very interesting to see Petrovic was passing a lot to red shirts and forgot we were in blue away kit. Lots of giveaway kick out from him, actually. Yeah, now you mention it. I didn't actually make any notes of that, but yeah, there was a couple of dodgy distributions from him. But yeah,
I think you have to give a bit of, credit with United in that. Yes, we wasn't passing around quick and like we usually would in that, but at the end of the day, they was pressuring us. And any goalkeeper you get pressured, then you will start making bad passes and that's what happened as well.
Yeah. No, that is a very valid point. Let's pop on to the next one, which is Craig. My 9 a.m. morning meeting has cancelled, so tuning in. Okay. Could have had an extra hour in bed then, by the sounds of it. And he's also saying, I did see the first goal. Senesi should have done far better, and a cross like that should never be conceded. After that, I fell asleep. Side note, the away shirt looks very smart when on the pitch. Yeah, and I did think that last night. I did put it into the group chat last night that I thought, now that I've seen it actually being worn by the guys on the pitch, I thought, it's gone up again. So I think on our reaction show, if you haven't checked it out, it's on the channel where myself and Craig give our opinions on the away shirt. I think I scored it 7.5 during the show, but it's gone up to an 8 now. Because now I've seen it on. Sometimes pictures don't give shirts, you see it differently, don't you, when you see it in the flesh. So I remember when the first, when the home shirt came out a few weeks back, I thought, it's all right, it's not bad. And then I saw it and I thought, well, actually, it's gone up. It's gone up a score now. So, I mean, I know you said some bits yesterday, Sean. I think you would prefer the stripes on the back. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the shirt's a grower, and there's a few things like stripes on the back, a few more stripes on it, and the logo a bit more distinct kind of thing. So, but I say it's a nice shirt, nice and smart and that, and I'll happily get it and all that. But just said there's room for improvements on it to me personally.
Yeah, no, totally. I wasn't so keen on the aqua badge and the aqua pinstripes at first. I thought, I wasn't so keen on that, but now I've seen the players actually wearing it on the pitch, and I love the blue short combination as well, rather than having black shorts. I thought the blue short combination was really good. So, yeah, all in all, smart. And stay tuned for our third shirt reaction when that is finally released. Myself and Craig will be doing another reaction video on that. But yeah, let's wrap up now. Don't forget, tomorrow I will be back with Paul from Oz. Paul from Oz will be joining me on Cherry AM tomorrow. So looking forward to that. Always a good show with Paul.
I was thinking something, this will be for a future show and that, but I was just thinking, you're saying about Smith, your favourite player. When you do the Liverpool preview, you're going to have to think about, if you want Smith as starter, Kirkes as left back, so they'd be going against each other.
Yeah, that is a very
so
interesting.
So Kirkes fast pace against Smithy slow pace. That could be very interesting. So that'd be an in-depth thing to look into when you do the preview.
No, definitely. That is very good. Yeah, and of course the new preview show. Now you brought that up. Sean, thank you for reminding me. Obviously, we've got the new preview show, the Dean Court Social, which will be starting. Is it next? No, not next week. Week after. There's also Ollie's new match reaction show called Cherry Slaps, I think, if I remember rightly, which he's working very hard on in the background to get ready. He's going to be joined by some special guests as well. So there's that coming up. Sunday, we've got the watch along. The West Ham watch along. Myself and Craig will be doing the watch along on Sunday evening. So yeah, just stay tuned to the channel, guys. There's lots coming up. And but yeah, all that's left to say is thank you to everybody in the chat as always. Thank you for joining us. Let's just pop back to a couple of comments just before we go. Darren Hurst away shirt did look good in the flesh. Totally agree, Darren. And Paul, great show, lads. Well done for stepping in, Sean. Yeah, thank you, Sean, for being in the background there this morning.
And if anyone's wondering if I worked out the scores correctly, if we to win the summer series, we would need to, or West Ham, if they wanted to win it, they'd have to win by 3 goals, and then Man U lose by 2 goals, I believe, if I worked out the table and the calculations right.
Yeah, the goal difference side of it. Yeah, I think you're...
Because of the goal difference, the goals we've conceded now because of that. That's why we have to get that. So there has to be a, 5 goal swing, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. We'd love to see it. We'd love to win the summer series. I honestly really did think we were in for a, real good shout at winning it. And to be fair, I didn't expect United to quite play the way they did last night. But, fair play to United. They won it. But, we all know the important game is that first game at Anfield. And then from then on, these games are what they are. It would have been nice to win it. But the main thing is that the club's out there and they're, getting to play in front of the American fans, which I think is a great thing. So, yeah, it's all great for the club going forward, isn't it? But yeah,
Nick, a few Man United supporters. Saw them signing some Bournemouth players.
no, definitely. Well, thank you, Sean, for joining me this morning. Thank you to everyone in the chat. And like I say, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with Paul. Myself and Paul will be coming up with some topics for tomorrow. We'll obviously touch on the West Ham game that's coming up for the last game of the summer series for Bournemouth. And so many other news that we decide to talk about. So yeah, join us tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll see you then. But until the next one, see you later from myself and Sean.
Up the cherries.
Up the cherries indeed.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
should be like you, Mel.